Please note, this is just a review of the final work and not an endorsement of the creator. Any opinion or prior action belonging to the creator involved, unless otherwise stated, are not factors in this review. Thank you and enjoy!
Hey guys, StarCraft here, and like I said yesterday, I'm going to be doing a lot of my videos for the next couple weeks that are going to the end of the year. Not all of them, because I don't have that many, but a lot of them are going to be final end of era stories, or it might just be for this week. I don't know. But since I did Whatever Happened to Cape Crusader, one that I thoroughly enjoyed and thought was a very good story. The next one might be a little controversial, was what I have to say about it. And that's Alan Moore's Whatever Happened to the Man of Tomorrow. The thing about this story is, when I first read it, I adored it. I thought it was one of the best Superman stories ever told, and it's still one of the best Superman stories written, but it's not the best Superman story. I cannot accept it anymore. When I first did that, like a lot of people who read this as one of their earlier stories, you don't see much about it. But if you become more and more of a Superman fan, you realize just how mean-spirited this is. This is beyond mean-spirited. This is the story I more want to tell. Kind of slams in the face of so much stuff that makes up Superman who he is. But let's get right into it. As we open with a passage that I would love. This is an imaginary story, which may never happen, but then again may. About a perfect man who came from the sky and did only good. It tells of his twilight, when the great battles were over and great miracles long since performed, of how his enemies conspired against him, and of that final war in the snow-blind wastes beneath the northern lights, of the woman he loved, and of the choice he made between them, of how he broke his most sacred oaths, and how finally all things he had were taken from him, save one. It ends with a wink. It begins in a quiet Midwestern town, one summer afternoon in the quiet Midwestern future. Away in the big city, people still sometimes glance up, hopefully from the sidewalks, glimpsing a distant speck in the sky. But no, it's only a bird, only a plane. Superman died 10 years ago. This is an imaginary story. Aren't they all? That is very poetic. As we open up with Lois answering the door for this reporter. Her name is now Lois Elliott. As she's married now and has a son. And they're talking, he basically wants to talk to her. It's the anniversary of his last appearance, the last days of Superman. So it's them decided to be asked, what happened? So Lois decided to set the stage. Luthor had been laying low, and 2 years earlier, Brainiac's last organic metal body, had been pounded into a state beyond repair. And basically, even admits, Superman was able to find everything except the head. Parasite Man and Terra Man had destroyed each other in a lethal clash of egos. It was like there was nobody else to fight. So Superman was out in space for a while. When he came back, right as he did, Bizarro went on a rampage, actually killing people. To which Superman goes inside and fights Bizarro, who is just taunting, and he even says, "Bizarro, come out and show yourself. I want an explanation for this." Huh, this ain't that easy. It import of genius Bizarro self-improvement plan. Bizarro? See, me suddenly realized that me am not imperfect duplicate. Maybe me not trying hard enough. Example, when your planet Krypton blew up by accident, you came to Earth and you am coming to Earth as baby. So me decided to blow up whole Bizarre world on purpose and come to Earth as adult. The Bizarre world? Blown up? That right. Haha. Pretty imperfect, huh? Bizarro, what's happened to you? I can't believe you would actually destroy your own home world. Ha! That I'm only beginning. Next, me realize that Superman never kill. So me kill lots of people. Them very grateful. Scream with happiness. Killed people? Oh, merciful row. Then me finally understand what me need to be perfect imperfect duplicate. It's them little blue kryptonite meteor that me carry in lead case for good luck. See? You am alive, Superman. If me and imperfect duplicate that me have to be Bizarro. Everything him go dark. Hello, Superman. Hello. As Bizarro died, and just leaving just as many questions of why. No one knew at that moment. Then the next day at the Daily Planet, right before a broadcast, he was a news reporter at this point. Clark opens a package and finds a little Superman figure. That just happens to actually shoot out heat ray and heat vision. All the figures in the box start coming out, flying around, and start blasting at Clark until basically he's revealed his secret identity. And Lana's like, this whole time, it was you. And then all of a sudden, it's the Toyman and the Prankster mocking him through the toy. As they find out that, they know who he is. And how? They open up a box and reveals the corpse of Pete Ross. They have found him and they use a mind control device that actually, killed him. To which then Superman flies off to find the two and beat them senseless. They are completely dazed, confused as to what happened. Which again, the weirdest thing is, the mischievous ones become killers. What happens when the killers return? That was the dreaded question that was on everyone's mind. As at the same time in the Arctic, Luthor's able to find Brainiac's head. He was planning on taking it apart when all of a sudden the skull comes to life, starts building itself around Brainiac, and then takes over. Even mocking, saying, this is our new Luthor and the new Luthor Brainiac team up. As he's now in control of Luthor's body. Yeah. Lex does not factor in the story at all. This is all Brainiac's doing. Meanwhile, back at the Daily Planet, we see some people, just a bunch of men looking up at the globe. As this one woman tries to seduce a man, he ripped open his shirt, revealing he and a bunch of others have been transformed into Metallos. As they start to storm the Daily Planet, climbing their way up, attacking it, pulling them, and Lois out, but Superman saves her. Then he starts using Silver Age logic, moving the globe fast enough for it to become magnetized, pulling them all magnetizing them all, taking them off so they can be restored to normal. Realizing someone's after his friends, he takes those who were close to him to his fortress. At the same time, Krypto shows up. Speaking of which, the old Superboy villain, Kryptonite Man, now an adult, is stomping around Metropolis trying to find him when Brainiac picks him up, realizing he could be an asset. Now, by this point in the comics, Lois and Perry and Alice, his wife, were having some emotional issues. Telling you that more was picking up with what was going on. So Superman felt so bad that they had to be in separate rooms. We see Lois and Lana having a nice moment, and Superman's trying to remembering Supergirl. Now I chose to point out that Moore was told, Supergirl's dead, you can't represent. He decided, fuck that, I'll do it anyway. Then the Legion of Superheroes show up with a younger Supergirl. This is set in her early days. And basically, given how the Silver Age had this rule of you can't go and appear in a timeline you already exist. If you do, you become a phantom. So Supergirl is like, well, where am I? Oh, I'm probably up on a mission out in time, aren't I? Yeah, you are. And then even Superman snaps at Brainiac 5, who basically says, like, this is ancient history. How can you do this? Know about when we're going to die and yet still act like nothing happened. To which Brainiac says, as Superboy, you've seen some of our futures. How can you do it? Point made. And then they reveal a trophy of him holding the Phantom Zone projector. As they're all leaving, knowing something, Superman knows, he knows right then there's something's wrong. Even when Saturn Girl is crying but trying to make an excuse. Superman could tell. They weren't tears of joy or anything. They were crying. They knew this was the end. And this was the end of the first part. Going to the second part as we're introduced to Lois's new husband, which was Jordan Elliott. We'll get to that. And basically, and even when asked is like, I hope you don't mind interviewing about her ex. Nah, I could live with it. He weren't nothing special. Us ordinary working slob sons, we're the real heroes. Now, Jordan and Jordy, don't you get started on that. Yeah, more to that. We got to the Fortress of Solitude as Superman destroys the giant key. But at the same time, Brainiac 5 and the others show up, as well as the Legion of Supervillains. As they're all there, right? And they know that this was the day that Superman falls, and they want to be there. So Brainiac feels like, yes, it's my destiny. I am his greatest, because they say Superman will fall to his greatest foe. And Brainiac thinks that's him. And then all of a sudden there's a force field put up. So huge that none of the heroes, not even Shazam or Superwoman, who was a thing at the time, could do anything about it. Superman and Krypto can't get close to Kryptonite Man for obvious reasons. Although I got chuck up Batman Robin. They're hitting it with sticks. Yeah, like that's gonna do anything, guys. And then you have a nice moment with Perry as he's talking over his issues. And meanwhile, Jimmy and Lana both get the same idea of wanting to help Superman. So they start to bring back some of their old abilities. Jimmy becomes Elastic-Glad again using the same stretching serum. And Lana finds a sample of an old radioactive lake water that gave her powers. So she goes in, dips herself in, and starts to regain powers. Meanwhile, at the same moment, and all of her senses start to enhance. At the same point then, Clark is confessing to Perry that he loves Lois, not Lana. And Lana hears it. So she decides, we'll prove that no one loved him more than us. Nobody! And thus they go in and start dealing with and the villains. You have her tackling, since she's immune, no harm from Kryptonite, she starts going after Kryptonite Man, knocks him out. Then Lex briefly takes control, and he tells Lana, "Kill me, please," and she does, snapping his neck, like with a chop. But then the Legion of Supervillains realize, Saturn Woman realizes, oh, she got her powers from that pool. Cosmic King uses his powers to negate them, and then Lightning Lord touches her and fries her. Jimmy then comes down ready to take him out when he's shot from the back by Brainiac, still utilizing Lex's body before rigor mortis sets in. He still has just enough time to ensure his victory. But the weird thing is, Jimmy destroyed the portal apparatus, and yet the force field is still up. No matter, as they still continue their assault. At one point, Perry grabs Alice out of the way, and mixture both after his talk with Clark and after saving his life, the two reconcile. Meanwhile, Kryptonite Man is calling out for Superman, and Krypto charges in, running, smashing through there in a pretty awesome page, which I should have to point out, the artwork, you had Kurt Swan with George Perez inking the first issue, and then Kurt Schaffenberger inking the second one. And this was a great grand finale for Kurt. He would appear later on in other issues, on and off again, but this was his finest work, if you ask me. Then Krypto attacks the Kryptonite Man, who starts saying, "I'm killing you, you stupid dog!" He kills him, but unfortunately at his own sacrifices, he dies with a sad, sending howl. Superman grabs Lois, and he's still holding on to the trophy when the Legion of Supervillains taunt him, even revealing that they kill Lana, calling Superman to start zapping at them uncontrollably. Realizing that his mind says to kill, they're like, "Let's get out of here, we're not gonna die." Then they finally make their way to Brainiac, and, well, Luthor's body finally keels over for good. Brainiac tries to get off, saying, "I'm coming for you, Kryptonian," feeling like he's even saying, "Where is my Kryptonite Man? Why is my force screen still standing? I don't know. I don't care. I am coming for you, Kryptonian. My victory is inevitable." Unfortunately, that was the last bit of his energy as he collapses dead. They're trying to figure out, though, what caused this. Why is the force screen still active? And he realized his greatest villain was not any of them. None of those were his greatest. In fact, the only one who could, because he realizes, yeah, there's one missing, and that's Mixius Pitalik. And looking pretty sinister already, as he basically taunts.
So, you finally guessed. Greetings, Superman. Greetings from the 5th dimension.
You are guiding all of this from behind the scenes. All this killing and destruction. Mixius Pitalik, in Rao's name, why?
Don't be naive, Superman. I'm an immortal, like everyone in the 5th dimension. The big problem with being immortal is filling your time. For example, I spent the first 2,000 years of my existence doing absolutely nothing. I didn't move. I didn't even breathe. Eventually, simple inertia became tiresome, so I spent the next 2,000 years being saintly and benign, doing only good deeds. When that novelty began to fade, I decided to try being mischievous. Now, 2,000 years later, I'm bored again. I need a change. Starting with your death, I shall spend the next 2 millennia being evil. After that, who knows? Maybe I'll try being guilty for a while. Did you honestly think a 5th dimensional sorcerer would resemble a funny little man in a derby? Would you like to see how I really look?
As he starts to change into this, giant being, as he taunts Superman, saying how everyone knows that Superman will meet his greatest foe and shall be no more. Why, even the whole 30th century knows it. Big mistake, as this causes Lois to point out they were giving you a clue, Superman, with the Phantom Zone projector. Superman flies off to grab it, and this is well loved, as you can tell. He activates it, and Mixie in his panic, knowing that he'd be stuck there, he says, "Kill Teepsy-Zum!" But he says at the same moment the projector goes off, ripping him in half and killing him. Superman then basically reveals that he killed him. Lois is trying to say, there wasn't anything you could have done. To which Superman says, nobody has a right to kill. Not Superman, especially not Superman. So he turns and walks out to the gold kryptonite sample storage chamber, which in this version would permanently remove his powers. He entered in and never saw him again. Everyone came in trying, finding them all those who were dead, they mourned. And those who were alive, they helped. And basically it was revealed that there was another back door out the other end, to which they believe he went into the wasteland and froze. No one ever found his body. And basically there's always the rumor that Superman's still alive. Lois is saying, no, I know for a fact. As we're then introduced to baby Jonathan, their son, Jordan and Lois' son. And as the reporter then leaves, we then see them talking, and all that, like how was work, all was fine. But then we see young Jordan and Jonathan playing with some coal, and it becomes a diamond. And it even says, do you like doing all this normal stuff? Yep, can't beat it. Although maybe I could live without the diapers. You were pretty hard on Superman. Superman, he was overrated and too wrapped up in himself. He thought the world couldn't get along without him. And then it ends with Superman winking at the camera. Yep, Jordan Elliott. Jor-El. Of course. And that's the end of the story. That's how the Bronze Age pre-crisis era ends. And, just seeing someone go by. And, like I said, this is just so mean-spirited. So many people die tragically, unceremoniously. And, it's just... The saddest thing about this is that it is well written. And for a send-off, it sets so many standards, but it also set the standard of the final hero that loses everything ending. But the most egregious of all is the whole ending of Superman killed, so he takes away his powers. No. And then he starts bad-mouthing Superman. It's like, Alan Moore was basically saying, Superman's full of himself. Oh no, in the real world where he had to kill, he wouldn't be able to live with himself. It's like, that's why I liked how post-crisis was able to deal with that early on and keep that where he did kill and that did cause him emotional stress. We actually saw that. This case, it feels like, especially given how Mixie was his most powerful, was the most powerful at that point. And yeah, he was going to do all of this stuff here. He was going ready to attack everything, ruin everything for the next 2,000 years. And if Superman had died, no one could stop him. What choice did Superman have? Look, I'm all for a hero doesn't kill, but not to that ludicrous degree. That was self-defense. It just feels like more like deep down Superman wanted an excuse to be able to stop and because of everything that happened and be normal, which is fine, but still selfish. And this doesn't feel like Superman at all, if you ask me. Again, this is well written. I'm not denying that. It is one of the best written Superman stories. And it's one of those classic send-offs. As far as really getting Superman, it just didn't. And again, you had all this nasty, cruel stuff happening to so many people. You have only Perry and Alice and Lois and Superman, the only ones that survived. And again, it was needless in the long run. Because, yeah, they stopped Mixie, but Superman's like, oh, I stopped him. Yeah, there's some other threats out there. But, actually, no, that's the other thing. How more basically heavy by happenstance, so many of his great threats are now gone, no more. So it's all right for him to retire. There's always going to be new threats out there. Again, just so much of it just felt like piling on to Superman. And yeah, more does get Superman. It's clear he does. Like when he did Supreme and all that stuff. But again, just taking it a whole thou shall not kill thing to its ludicrous extreme just bugs me. You can tell I had a lot more to say about this than the one yesterday, obviously. So, yeah, that's all I got to say. Trying to figure out what I'll do tomorrow and for Thanksgiving. But until then, have a happy one, guys.